Hi guys, in the video today I'm going to show how I play heavy tanks with bad gun depression on Prok. Now this was a map I used to dread seeing in tanks like the IS-6, IS-7, you know, any of the Russian heavies basically. And a lot of the time I try going down the 1-2 line, invariably get spotted halfway and get back to the garage, or I try going up the hill and I come across things like Conquerors, E5s, T29s, you know, stuff like that. Tanks with good turrets and good gun depression and get outplayed, and again go back to the garage and get destroyed. After a while I started just trying to play the central ridge. I figured, you know, I can get closer to the enemy that way and mitigate some of the gun stats these tanks tend to have, and it worked out quite well. Now in this game I'm in the WZ1111-4, the Chinese tier 9 heavy tank, similar to the T10 on the Russian line, in that you get a fast tank that has got hull armour that's honestly not so great frontally. You can side scrape quite well, but you get decent turret armour and you get a hard hitting gun. And on this map I believe having a decent turret and a good gun is more important than having gun depression, and we'll see why in this game. Now I'm going to this rock here. Unless we have no tanks going toward the hill, this is the location I'll bring a tank line. Now the reason for that is because the rock covers me from any people who have literally just sat at a base. 183s on this map, from what I've seen, a lot of the time tend to just park up at spawn near the houses and, you know, try and one-shot anything that pops over, and the rock protects you against. It also gives you line of sight on the 1-2 line and on the hill. And as we've seen, I can actually bring the gun to bear whilst only exposing the turret of the tank, despite having poor gun depression, so I'm able to bounce a fair few. It doesn't provide you with complete arty safety, as we've seen, but this Prok, having a tiny bit of possible safety against artillery is better than having none. I'll hit that one for 468, which is where the good alpha comes in play, because using this spot with high alpha, it means that when I do have to risk exposing any of the armour on my tank, I can make it well worth my time, because odds on I'm going to hit the enemy tank hard. Now I hit the Lorraine there for over 500 damage. He puts a shot into me, it's going to go into my hatch. I do try backing away, and that one goes in. But I'm not too fussed. I certainly did better on that particular trip. Now again, I'm bouncing more shots from the turret. I'm just looking for another target here. Now what's important to do is that you don't try side scraping off a rock or parking up and staying there. You have to fire and then move. I've hit the light tank and then I'm backing away again. And a lot of the time I'll just kind of rinse and repeat this a little bit. Now I tried taking a shot at the brick here, but I've gone up a tiny bit too far and I've taken a shot from the hill on the right hand side. I wasn't paying attention to the map over there, and whilst our green tanks are at the top of the hill, they're yet to actually advance on it. So at this point I'm going to back away into safety, make sure I'm undetected, and request that the team up there advance. If they do, I can give them quite a lot of support fire. If they don't, then pretty much all our tanks that are in the centre of the field are vulnerable right now to shots in the side, which is bad. However, thankfully, the green tanks up there do decide to move forward, so I'm going to try and support them as much as I can. We've got plenty of green tanks on the centre line, and we've got a few on the 1-2 line, so the red tanks that are in the field currently have got a decent amount of pressure on them, but the reds on the hill have got the advantage, and that's why I'm focusing my firepower on them. Yeah, the green tanks up there need shells flying in that direction. Thankfully, because this has got fairly decent rate of fire and a good chunk of alpha, I'm able to whittle down the health of the tanks up there quite easily. And here I'm in safety. The tanks on the left hand side haven't got me detected, so I'm able to shoot here and farm damage without any risk to myself at all, which, you know, is always nice. Now I figured I could get the kill shot here, and I did, but I was spotted, so that was risky. I could have taken a hit there. But like I say, I'm desperate to give the green team on the hill any help I can, and taking a red gun out of the game helps them out quite a bit. But again, I am detected, so I'm taking some calculated risks. The reason I'm doing that here at the moment is because I figure the red tanks on the 1-2 line have got a lot of pressure on them frontally from the other green tanks. I'm hoping odds on they're not going to be paying much attention to me, which is why I'm still focusing on the tanks on the hill. However, I have driven up quite far here. Certainly risky, but artillery has been spot up and I'd like to shoot it. Fortunately for me, someone else does land a shot a little bit earlier than me, so I don't pick up much damage, but I do manage to get the kill on it at least. Better than nothing. Again, I'm focusing back on the hill at this point, but I left too much of my tank exposed and ate a shell from a Jagdpanther. So that wasn't really ideal. So I'm being a bit wary at this point because I don't want to take another hit from that thing. The Jagdpanther 2 is quite a devastating tank destroyer. I don't want to remain focus of its attention. The green team are making good advances though, so I move up a little bit to see if I can get any shots on the Jagdpanther or any tanks over there. However, I can't. I have a quick look at the IS and on my screen when I zoomed in, his hatch was visible, so I thought I'd take a shot. I didn't expect it to hit, but I didn't have any other shots I could take. I took a chance on that one. Now here I'm not sure about where to go. I don't want to take shots from the MO2 on the side of me, but the Jagdpanther 2 has exposed its tank, and that one's gone now as well. Now at this point, it's not looking good for red team. Green team are making advances on every single side of the map. And they're rapidly becoming outnumbered. Due to that, I'm looking at the map thinking that, you know, we should have the win here quite easily at this. So I'm going to push on the Emil because I just want to get as much damage and kills at this point. There's not much longer left in this. And thankfully these kind of tanks do tend to be quite mobile. And due to the fact they're mobile and they've got hard hitting guns, it means late game they can be powerhouses really. Most people think of things like Batchats and that as being the ideal late game tanks, but if a tank like this can survive towards the end, you can drive around and mop up quite effectively. Now here he was reloading, but I did overshoot a little bit and I'm stuck in the water, which isn't good for me. If he was a loaded Emil and he was paying a bit more attention to me, that would have been game over for me. The only reason I'm still alive is just down to pure circumstance. So yeah, I did mess up there, but thankfully it doesn't got away with it. At this point I've got 5 kills and I'm hoping I can get 6, and thankfully someone tracks the light tank in front of my gun. Fires a shot, but my armor manages to bounce that, and now there's just the one tank left. The tank that is left is a threat though. It's the new premium tank they've added, and got a 105mm gun I believe, which means it's got good penetration, decent alpha damage. But I should be a bit more wary about it than I am being, but like I said, it's the end of the game, it's the last tank alive. I'm quite content just getting one shot into it at this. Again, I put the tank speed to use, put a shot into it. I do eat a shell, but I'm still alive and I'm going to go for the ram. And he's gone. So yeah, despite having bad gun depression, the gun on my tank was firing pretty much every time it was loaded. It was a nice selection of targets because that location gives you a nice line of fire on the most popular parts of the map. And yeah, it ended up being a high damage game and an ace, which they can be tricky to get into at night. So for my first game with this being fully upgraded, I was really quite happy with that. I'm looking forward to getting the 5A and just the grind in general. This tank seems pretty good. Now, when it comes to this tank in particular, like I said, it's kind of like the T10 plays similar. It's a very fast tank that's able to put high damage where it needs to be on the map. However, I've had to use a wet ammo rack on this one, which is something I don't normally use on tanks, even on things like Conquerors and stuff. A lot of people, you know, and you had the ammo racks, but I never really bothered with it. But on this tank it's necessary because pretty much every single game I've played with this tank, my ammo rack has taken damage. So wet ammo rack and safe storage were essential. And I'll show you why in a minute, because I'll bring up the little module viewer and I'll show you exactly where the ammo rack on this thing is. It'll show why it gets hit so often. There we go, pretty much the front half of the tank is ammo rack. Unless a shell penetrates the front armour, and sail straight through the gap in between them both, then any shell hitting the front of the tank is pretty much going to damage your ammo. And it does happen pretty much every game because the hull armour isn't great. It's angled well, but so far, in my experience, it hasn't bounced many shells. So, yeah, a lot of the time, shots do hit the ammo on this. That wet ammo rack is absolutely essential. Now, I'll bring up its stat page for you. Quickly show you those. So you've got a decent engine, good rate of fire, good penetration. The premium penetration at 340 is amazing, meaning this thing doesn't mind going up against tier 10s. Gun handling is decent enough, good turret armour, and you've got a decent view range at 400 meters. Overall, it's a very dangerous tank. I can't wait for the 5A after it, because from what I hear, it's like this but better in every way. And this, like I say, yeah, it's a scary tank. It's really quite good. Anyway, thanks for watching the video, guys. I know it was a bit different to normal, and I hope you don't mind that. I don't normally show the high damage games. I just wanted to show how good that location can be in a decent tank. The next video will be kind of like on the other ones, where, you know, I'll do another review, and I'll get it up as soon as I can for you. Thanks for watching, guys. I do appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.